Thank you. So it's last talk and also just more pressure. Okay, let's try. Let's do it, guys. Figure out how it works. Perfect. Okay, guys. So first of all, I'm not a Ferrari driver. Okay, first joke, right? To keep you guys engaged at the last talk. Yeah, to be more serious, yeah, we are partners of Ferrari team, right? And it was just like a F1 week in Singapore last week, so I thought it would be a nice outfit for this event. I'm from Horani originally, so Horani was founded 8 years ago, and last year we were acquired by Bitdefender. So now I'm part of Bitdefender. Yeah, by the way, Nicholas, we worked together some time ago in Indonesia, just realized. And yeah, and actually, fun fact, I stayed like 1 year in Philippines in BGC when Horani just started. I wouldn't say I'm familiar with the Philippines because I don't think BGC represents Philippines. So I'm very excited to be here at RootCon first time. I heard a lot about it. My team members came here previously, so I'm very excited to be here, and hopefully we'll be here next time as well. So to give you a little bit of context about this talk, I developed this workshop a year ago for a conference in South Korea, and then I refined it for SynCon in May this year, and now I transferred it, like I adopted it, I tuned it right for RootCon to make it a talk. I just added some additions, something hopefully exciting and new, so guys, stay tuned. Yeah, and I've been dealing with cloud since the beginning of Horani, a little bit earlier, so almost like 8 years. Like Horani was a cloud native company. First I was building for cloud, then I transferred from engineering, VP of engineering role to VP of security, and I've been securing cloud. So hopefully I can share some relevant experience to you. But just guys, to understand the audience and make this talk more relevant to you. So who is here using cloud? Okay, we see a few people, so I guess I would need to speak a little bit about cloud. Who is securing cloud? Only one person? Okay, hopefully you guys will learn something from this. But yeah, if you want to chime in, I don't say I know everything, right? So I'm very open, so if you guys want to add something, please feel free to help me. Of course, I wanted to give credits to CloudGoat. It's an amazing tool. You guys can go and search it in Google. You will find a GitHub repo, CloudGoat. So a lot of experience and practice I'm doing, like when I deploy and test CloudGoat. Of course, a lot of experience are from my work in the company, but yeah, addition, yeah, I use CloudGoat a lot. So credits to them. Okay. So yeah, as I understand, it would be relevant for you guys to talk a little bit about cloud, so I will introduce it. Then we will talk review some breaches in cloud, and dive deep into specific case studies. And then we will do actually something fun, right? Like we will do a real attack simulation. So I basically design an environment based on some observations from cloud breaches, as well as like from our internal setup. And yeah, I will show you how actually very simple but impactful attack can happen. Then we will talk about defense. About threat detection in cloud, it's an important topic, but it's optional. I don't think we'll be able to talk about this because I know like my talk needed to start a bit earlier, and I don't want to hold you guys too long, so I'll try to be on time. Yeah, and this is takeaways I hope you guys will learn. So we will learn a little bit about cloud, but most importantly, IAM, Identity Access Management, is very important. So we'll go to basics, right, and see how IAM can be set up and how it can be abused. And yeah, and we will talk about some defense, like how to, for example, interrupt a kill chain, because the attack will be multi-stage. And disclaimer, right? So all opinions here are my own. Of course, thanks to my company for supporting me, letting me to come here and supporting to travel here. but yeah, all my opinions. And yeah, I will show you guys basically how to abuse some misconfigurations, right, and how actually run an attack. So this knowledge, right, is only for educational purposes, so be responsible. And also I will refer to some tools, right? I'm not like selling them or representing them, just something I'm familiar with, and that's why I will be referring to these tools like AWS or Datadog or JumpCloud. Okay, let's start a little bit about cloud. So even guys, if you are not developing for cloud or not securing cloud, I'm pretty sure I don't need to convince anyone that cloud is everywhere. Like even like governments, banks are moving to cloud. So cloud is very important. Of course, like because cloud is deployed everywhere, it's also a lucrative target for attackers. This is overall like cost of breach, right? I think like 4.45 million in 2023, and it's increasing like 50%, so a lot of increase in terms of number of data breaches. Like since from 2023 to 2024, according to some research, it increased twice. So like not all breaches are disclosed, right? Unfortunately, like the community still need to be stronger to discuss breaches, but disclosed breaches are increasing twice. Yesterday, there was a nice talk from Aaron. He talked about cyber physical convergence. Basically, these breaches are damaging, right? Like they can destroy real things. And cloud, right, is a huge challenge. Like I will guys tell you, basically cloud is nothing special, right? It's just like technologies, but at scale, right? And because of this scale, like it opens a lot of opportunities for attacks. So like our own research shows like that there is, actually this is 2023, right? Like there is one misconfiguration every 20 seconds. Because now like cloud grows so much, I think it's much more often, maybe like every second there are multiple misconfigurations that are opportunities for attackers. Yeah, but basically as I promised, so cloud is nothing special, right? It's just like all traditional technologies like network, servers, but in a way that it's like they're accessible from anywhere. So this is the biggest differentiator and its biggest challenge, right? So anywhere in the world, like as soon as you have the internet, you can attack someone's cloud infrastructure. Very challenging. And yeah, cloud is also about scale, right? On-demand resources, and to manage it, like you need APIs. You can automate everything. So securing APIs is very important as well. So in cloud, we would differentiate management plane, right, which is used to deploy resources remotely from anywhere, like through your web browser or through API. And we differentiate workloads, so something running inside cloud. And workloads are usually more like traditional things, like a server, right? You still need like to harden your server, deploy like threat detection in your server, or containers. Even containers, right? It's still like servers, but much more lightweight. So workloads. Okay, let's talk about identity and access management. Basically, as I told you guys, you can access cloud from anywhere. So that's why like managing access well is very important, and it's done by identity and access management. And there are multiple ways how we can access cloud. We can just create a user, like this blue guy on the top, right? Create user traditionally with a password, with ID password, MFA. Don't forget, guys, to use MFA. Attach policy to it, right? So like attach permission directly, and it will be able to do to manage resources. Another way, we can create a user, and we can create a separate role, right? So we can attach this role to multiple users, or many users can assume this role, so we don't need to recreate it multiple times. And also, it helps to get like a temporary credentials, not permanent one. Yeah, it's something more advanced and more flexible. And next stage to role-based access is attribute-based access, right? Where we manage access to different resources more granularly based on attributes, on tags. So for example, like here, there is a tag team, which is engineering, and the project Pegasus, right? So if a user has a role with these tags, they will be only able to access resources for engineering team Pegasus project only. And there is one more thing, right? Like SSO. So it's a very important technology, like centralized identity. Like you can manage access to all different systems in your enterprise from one place. So it brings some security, right? But yeah, we'll see that even this is not enough later. And basically you can have an identity, you can have an ID, password, MFA in your SSO application, and you can assume a role, right? You can basically connect it to your cloud and log in to your cloud through SSO. Let me guys briefly briefly show you how it looks like. Yeah. Demonstration. Let me try to drag something this. Cool. So if I want just to log into AWS, right, I go to sign in. And apologies, guys. I think the internet is a bit have challenges. I also trying to use my phone, but even phone sometimes not so stable. Yeah. Signing as a user, as a root user, not so nice, but for the purpose of demo, I can do it. So just nothing special, right? I think. I mean, just for the simple purpose of demonstration, nothing special, yeah, just password login, right? Okay. And we can see here, this is my role, right? Rise, Kair, practice. Name does not mean anything, just created from my previous presentation. But yeah, now I can go to JumpCloud. I can log into JumpCloud, which is my SSO provider first, and then from JumpCloud, I will log into AWS. Who's here configuring SSO in your companies? Anyone like in internal security and IT roles? One-stop person. It's all look simple, but yeah, it takes some time to configure all these technologies. So, and we've been doing it. I've been doing it with my team like for past few years. So, okay, cool. You see, like we log into JumpCloud, and basically here you can have multiple accounts. You can log in here from if you connect like you Microsoft or your Google, you can log into Google. You can log into Atlassian, whatever tools you use, right? Okay, I just click on AWS and I will go to AWS without any additional password, right? Okay, so hopefully we now have a bit of concept of IAM. I spend a bit of time here to explain, but this is important. Drag it back. Okay, so we talked about cloud, right? It's not a cloud security, it's just cloud. We introduced main concept, IAM. And for cloud security, what should we do? So we should secure management plane. And what may happen with management plane? Like a lot of misconfiguration can happen. I will, guys, tell you like my battle story, right? Like my story, like Forani, like in early days of Forani, like we started using AWS very early, like back 8 years ago. And if any one of you guys tried to see AWS 8 years ago, it looks totally different from now, right? And I created a S3 bucket. I put some data in it. Well, I didn't want it to be public data, so I put it in private. So fortunately, it was test data, but still not. I didn't want it to be public. And I'm pretty sure I made it private because I'm a security guy. But yeah, interface of AWS that time looked totally different. Then like a few days later, the interface of AWS changes. It looks more like now, right? More better security, better settings. And then like we did internal testing. Actually, one guy from my engineering team, but he also had security mindset. He did like an internal pen test. A Filipino guy, we hired him as a part-time, like as a student at the beginning of Forani, and then he now still is Forani as a BD. So he found that there is data in our public S3. Oh, like I didn't do this. So I blame that AWS when they changed interface, right? They made it public, but we reached out to AWS. They told like they never make private S3 buckets public, but I don't think they would accept. So yeah, we would never know what happened, but this is a story I like to tell. And there are a lot of breaches, right? Like especially in the past related to breaches from S3 buckets. So a lot of data leaked from S3 buckets. So keep a special attention to S3 buckets if you use AWS or any file storage for any other cloud accounts. And as I told, like cloud is about scale, right? Like you can just easily deploy a lot of servers as soon as you don't care too much about money, right? It's very easy to deploy. Previously, like when we were building products, like we were configuring a lot of things in our servers, like it took us like, I don't know, weeks to configure servers. Now, like with one click, you can deploy a server. That's why developers like to deploy a lot of resources, right? But like imagine you are like a young company or a small engineering team, you need to build something and suddenly you get a lot of customers and you need to support customers and you just forget what you build. If any engineers here, you guys know this story, right? Like we build and then we forget what we build, right? And the cloud is even easier, right? Like we deploy so many things and we forget about it. It can be compromised. So I know like another story, like internal story, is that there was a company in a country, I would not say what company and what country, but it was like a northern part of Asia. So they deployed one resource in another region in the cloud. Like in cloud, you can use multi-region, right? Like you can deploy easily in Philippines, or you can deploy easily in Europe or US, right? And not very visible, like there is no good visibility across regions what kind of resources you have. So if you deploy in another region and you forget about it, it's also forgotten and easily compromisable. So that companies, they forget that they deployed something there and it was compromised. Yeah, security workload is traditional one, right? You still need to patch your systems, you need to monitor for threat detection. Cloud native, something more challenging, fortunately not so popular, but yet because cloud providers like big ones, oh no. Hey guys, yeah, I didn't sleep much past a few weeks, so I hope I will survive after this shot. But yeah, what did I tell? Cloud native, right? So cloud providers are usually big companies like, you know, AWS, GCP, Azure, right? Like Microsoft. So they have a lot of resources to invest into building like reliable and secure platforms. But even in these cases, they still forget something, right? Usually for cloud native attacks, there are cases like of undocumented or forgotten APIs which can be abused. So, I mean, nothing much we can do here, right? Like we just need to keep an eye on news, like on threat intelligence, and if this API impacts our resource, yeah, we need to build a mitigation controls. Threat detection, well, threat detection applies any environment, whether it's cloud or your local IT infrastructure, right? Like you need to collect data from everywhere, and now, like like these XDR technologies, SOAR technologies, you need all correlate all data and detect attack which from one environment to another. So a little bit of examples of cloud breaches. So you see only one example of S3 bucket breach, but basically S3 bucket breaches are very popular. Well, MongoDB guys, if you also were a developer or like, I don't know, 7 years ago, like if you deploy MongoDB by default, they didn't set up credentials, right? Like they didn't set up authentication. So many companies deployed it. I deployed it for testing, fortunately, right? But yeah, many companies deployed it for production, and they just data open for everyone. Interesting cases are CircleCI and JumpCloud. There are two things why they're interesting, right? First of all, they're interesting because it's attack on vendors, right? On systems upstream, right? So like like JumpCloud is an identity provider for many companies. So if your identity provider is compromised, like the key to your kingdom, right? Like everyone can access, like attacker can access clients of your upstream vendor. CircleCI, like CI/CD, right? Like used also by, it's a core infrastructure used by many companies. So if your, again, like upstream vendor is compromised, a lot of compromised. No, but also why it's good case, they actually have a very good report. I will show you guys example of CircleCI a little bit later. Well, currently we have to know, right? Like we live in the time when, not if incident happens, right? It's when incident happens. Like we all have to be, oh, I see my fellow co-pilot here in Ferrari t-shirt. So we'll drive back together. So yeah, guys, another joke, right? So hope you stay tuned. Yeah, so yeah, guys, incidents happen, right? Like we have to be ready to respond to incident, right? And now it's not whether incident happened to you or not, it's how you respond to incident, right? So if you respond to incident properly, right? If you're transparent with your client, if you mitigate incident very quickly, you actually may earn even more trust, because like your competitor also can be hacked, right? And now you will be differentiated from your competitor by the way how you respond to incidents. CircleCI had a very good incident report, like they transparently published and explained everything. Some economics of breaches, but yeah, we heard a lot of talks today and yesterday, like just talk before me, right, was talking about how to talk to CFO, right, so we can justify with these numbers. Okay guys, this is Capital One breach, I think happened 2019. So this breach, I would suggest you to study it if you're interested. There is like a MIT research paper published. Basically, attacker was caught, right? And attacker was justified, or like it was a lawsuit, so he was or she was in court. That's why this breach is very well documented. So it basically becomes like an illustrative case for our industry, like a kind of a study book. So you can download this paper, very detailed paper, describes all stages of attack, map it to MITRE framework, each stage, so very well documented. So I won't go into detail here. You can learn about this anywhere. Basically, you will see the diagram quite similar to next. I will show you about CircleCI. So this one is a CircleCI. So it happened in 2023. Here is a link to the blog post where they document details of their breach. Also well documented. They were updating public and client promptly. And what basically happened, right? And this is very relevant to demo or like simulation I will show you, because they had a developer, right? And they had MFA. So like developer needed to log into AWS with MFA. But even MFA didn't help because the attackers, the malware, very popular malware, info stealer, right? Like now it's a big threat along with ransomware, like we showed yesterday. They just steal the session, right? And usually session, even it's a temporary credential, it can live like for an hour. Many developers leave it, keep it like for a week because we are lazy developers. I mean, I can say because I've been originally developer, so we don't like to keep refreshing sessions, right? So the session was stolen, then attacker went to AWS environment, accessed storage of GitHub APIs of client of CI/CD, and basically they can access GitHub environment of more clients, right, of more victims. Okay, now we are moving to fun part, to cloud attack. Let me see how I can do it more easily. Okay, this is an environment I will guys show you. So I will have a, okay, so this is a scenario, right? Let's say we have a IT admin guy. So IT admin guy only has permission to create a user without any policies, right? Like the user cannot do anything. And ops guy, right, in a product and engineering team, they can assign roles, they can assign permissions to newly onboarded employees, right? So we'll be using attribute-based access control example, right, like what I showed you earlier, where we can assign permissions based on roles, right? If it's like engineering team member and like working on specific projects, they have different access. So this setup, right, I kind of took from official tutorial of AWS and edited, enhanced it a little bit. So if you guys want to study about it, you can just search for this tutorial, IAM tutorial, and you can see how this setup, these users, these roles can be created. Here, basically, an example how it was created. I will be using my host machine, like this MacBook, as a IT admin guy, right? I will be using one of virtual machines as a DevOps guy. So we will call him victim, right? Because he will be attacked by malware. And we'll have another virtual machine, which will be our C2, like a command and control server for attacker, right? Who manipulates the environment. And we will have a jump host. So this is another layer of security. This is I took from our own experience, right? So we cannot access resources in AWS in our infrastructure directly. We use a jump host. And this jump host is temporary. So it runs only during the time when we need it, right? But still, even in this case, we can abuse this scenario. So yeah, and jump host is basically an instance in EC2, a server in, AWS, a server in AWS. Okay, so let's start. So I'm an admin guy, right? And I need to create a new user. So like we have like a new employee in our company. I need to create a new user. So let me log in as an admin guy. My user, password. Actually, yeah, so first of all, I need to assume a role. So you remember we talked about IAM. So this user, even I log in directly, I don't have any. I can switch a role. So this is an additional layer of security, right? So this IT admin guy is quite secure. He does not use SSO, but still he's quite secure. So he uses roles. What role do we need to access? Let me find it. Okay, I need to put account ID again, same account. Okay, so now I can switch the role. Actually, even switching the role, I can not do much. I only configure that it has access to secret manager. So you see, like if I try to access EC2, yeah, I cannot access anything here. Yeah, so I don't have permission to access anything here. So I only can access secret manager. Okay, but I even cannot access this secret because this secret belongs to a different team. And remember, guys, about attribute-based access. So I'm an IT admin guy. I only have attributes. I only have permissions to access IT admin team resources. So yeah, you see, I have no nothing. I can see nothing for this secret, but I can see some information here for additional user. So this is a hidden IAM admin. So this is more security, right? So we have like a secure credential stored in secret manager for another role. So basically I can retrieve this secret. I will not because I don't want to leak it. But yeah, I can retrieve this secret. Then I will go to I go to my terminal. Trying to zoom in. I know it does not zoom in, but it's okay. So I go to the terminal, right? And yeah, if I modify, I can store these secrets, which I retrieve from secret manager in this file, but I will not store because I stored again. I don't want to, these credentials I don't want to leak. Yeah. And now I can create a user. Okay, I will create a user. So I will create a new member of our team, new Alice. She will be from Pegasus project, engineering team. Okay. So let's create a user. Cool, I created a user. Okay, job of IT admin guy done. So the IT admin says, okay, hey, DevOps guy, now you need to assign this user to engineering team Pegasus project. Okay, cool. So let's switch hats, right? And let's become a DevOps guy. So let me open my VM. So this one, cloud attack victim. So this is my VM for DevOps guy. Okay, he's loading. This one we don't need for now. Okay, loading. Okay, so now this is a thing, right? Like DevOps guy, you remember we were able to log in through JumpCloud SSO. We can use also a command line, SAML to AWS, and we can generate temporary credentials for SSO login. So this is actually very cool. Yeah, we developed, we configured it internally a few years ago, and it's very helpful. Okay, so I just add the same password as I used in my browser previously. So, okay, I got credentials temporarily until 5 a.m. Eastern time. It means 1 hour from now. So yeah, I think it's 5 a.m. Eastern time. It will be like 5 p.m. Philippine time. Cool. So I got my credentials. They should be in AWS credentials automatically stored. Yeah, here they're stored. Same time. This one is temporary one, so you guys can steal it if you want. Cool. And you remember that our jump host server is stopped, right? Actually, yeah. If I run a command, give me a second. Oh, I'm lost. Describe instance. Okay, so if I run this command, okay, so it shows us that jump host is stopped. Okay, so jump host is stopped. Now we need to start it. Okay, so now it's starting. You see stop changing to pending. Okay, cool. Well, I'm a DevOps guy. I already have my SSH key in standard location. Okay, yeah. So I have my, this is a key, Bastion Rise STEM key is for SSHing to jump host. Okay, I think it's already started. So let me now SSH to it. Okay, now I can SSH to it. Okay, still not started. Let's give it a bit more time. Cool. Okay, I'm inside my jump host, right? And I'm already, it's my jump host, it's DevOps jump host. So I actually have another credentials, right? So many credentials, but this is how we developers do. Something weird. Sorry guys, a bit inconvenient to do like this. Okay. Okay, yeah, I have my DevOps credentials already storing on jump host because it's secure. I need to start it, right? I need to get my SSO credentials, so it's quite secure. So I just store it here, okay? And I can run my job. I just can assign a tag to Alice, so she can become she get access to resources of Pegasus project engineering team. Okay, so I just run this command. So AWS has a CLI tool for AWS, right? And like if we say tag user, basically we call tag user API. So we can manage our resources remotely, as I told you, like from anywhere in the world. Cool, I'm finished with my job. So I exit my server. I stop the server, right? I'm a very secure, I'm a very good guy. So I need to stop the server. So no one can use it anymore. Let me stop it. Cool. And now I have some free time, and like we all guys like work remotely, right? So we all like doing our job, and then suddenly we think, oh, okay, now I need to buy some Bitcoin, so I need a new crypto wallet, I need like just earn some investment, right? Okay, so now what I do, I just finish my job, I'm very good, I just go. I go to this website, right? I'm Googling it, and I want to find a tool, Linux tool, which can generate a very strong seed key, right, for my crypto wallet. So I download it from internet. I install it on my machine. What's happening? Okay. Okay. I installed it on my machine, so now I can run called seed. Okay, I can run it, and I got my super secure seed. You guys don't need to picture it, right? It's very too much secure. Oh no, but something was stolen. Well, actually, if you guys develop malware, hopefully, I mean, I'm sure you won't be developing malware for bad things, but yeah, if you develop malware, yeah, you basically hide all this information, right? You want to run it stealth. Okay, but what happened? Yeah, something was stolen. So now I'm an attacker. I go to my S3 bucket, and I see what I got from this malware. Give me a second. So I go back. Now we switch the head, right? We become an attacker. So we already stole anything we need from our victim. So we become an attacker. So I log into my attacker AWS cloud. Attackers also, bad guys also very advanced. They start using cloud. They start using artificial intelligence, right? Okay, so I log in as an attacker. Yeah, attacker is very secure. He actually uses MFA. Okay, so I go to my S3 bucket. Here's my S3 bucket. So I should have a rootcon bucket. Yeah, attacker also attending rootcon, so he calls his bucket. And okay, I got credentials. And I got also a SSH key. So the malware was stealing credentials, SSH key, right? Basically, very simple. Thanks for clapping, but this is nothing, right? Because, I mean, you even don't need like root access to copy these files. Okay, let me just download it and. Okay, guys, I think I had like a part where we can use this key, right? Basically log into the machine and do the same thing what attacker does, right? And basically the idea was, what user, DevOps guy does. The idea also is that there is a misconfiguration in IAM. So the DevOps guy, he can assign these attributes, like admin attributes, to his own role and get admin access. And when he gets admin keys, he can create another user for persistence. So the attacker will just keep access to cloud for persistence. But yeah, I saw like I have only a few minutes left, so let me just wrap up it quickly. I think like we understood the main idea. Yeah, I think this is just a quick sneak peek, right, about InfoStealer. So InfoStealer is very popular. I just checked my intelligence threat intelligence source. Like there is a recent activity from a popular TeamSuki, right, a popular InfoStealer, but it's still active for like 10 years. Like on 26th of September, it was still active. So, and you can use like IOCs to block this activity. So InfoStealer is a very popular attack. That's why I chose it. Yeah. Yeah, let me just wrap up and quickly talk about defense, right? How we defend. So we have to go to basics. I just showed you guys a tutorial about IAM. So actually, as I told, like cloud providers, they're big companies. They have very good documentation. So don't just jump on developing in cloud, right? Read documentation carefully, understand how IAM works, understand how everything works. Go back to basics, right? Also very important is like know your environment. Actually, most of us like don't consider these basic things. Like we don't know like what's running in our infrastructure. There are so many shadow IT. So know your environment, build your inventory. But when you know your environment, also identify your basic, your most critical assets, right? So do threat modeling, identify your critical assets. So if, for example, if you know like that your access to cloud is very important, just set up a file monitoring on your credentials file, and whenever like your credentials file is modified or read, like you get an alert. And disrupt a kill chain, right? As we see here, like, okay, let me go back. So actually this is what was attacked, right? Like temporary credentials were stolen, malware was running, jump host had credentials stored locally. We had a misconfigured tag management for IAM user, right? And we stored some credentials in secret manager. So if we disrupt attack at any stage of this flow, right, we can stop attack, right? We don't need to stop everything, right? We just need to stop attack because attacks are very complex. We just need to stop attack at one stage. And this is some examples like what security controls we can apply. I mean, and this is a misconfiguration of tag management, right? Like we can, because DevOps guy can assign tags to other users, he can assign tags to himself. So we need also to configure proper conditions so he cannot assign tags to himself. And this is, I told you, documentation. This is just list from AWS documentation. This is best practices we need to learn when we configure IAM. And last but not least, right, our CISO. So when we got into, acquired by Bitdefender, the CISO shared with me this book, First Principles, Cybersecurity. I've been reading it for past year. Very amazing book, right? Like it basically reflects on what is fundamental in security, and then like aligns, maps all technologies to this first principle. So if you guys are interested, find this book and read it. Yeah, quite highly recommended. Yeah. So I have a guide, right? It's draft, but I almost finished it. So I have a guide how to deploy this environment and how to run this attack. So if you guys are interested to practice it yourself, find me on LinkedIn or send me email, and I will be happy to share this guide with you. Okay, that's all. Thank you.